Hello! Today we're making cider. Picking apples from our apple trees, and then we washed and cleaned the apples. And once we had a decent amount, we then quartered them and popped them into a food processor. So from the food processor we added to an apple press, which was lined with a straining cloth, and then used the handle mechanism to press and release the apple juice. You can add the smaller jugs at the collection point into larger jugs, making sure that they're all sterilised. To squeeze more juice out of the pulp, we added blocks at the top, which meant you could squeeze a lot of juice. And just a tip to have 2 or 3 collecting jugs at the bottom, because it does come out quite quickly after you start turning the handle, and it smells amazing. The sterilising powder for all the plastic equipment can be bought online quite easily. So just making sure you sterilise everything so that you're not introducing any bacteria to the apple juice at any point in the process. So once we had our apple juice squeezed, we used a hydrometer to check the sugar content, and at this point ours was 1.042. We then added Campden tablets, which is sulphur dioxide, to the apple juice. We then decanted the juice into a large container that had a bubbling outlet at the top. And this is a 5-gram sachet of cider yeast for about 25 litres of apple juice. There's the bubbler. It took 6 weeks for fermentation to finish, and then we decanted into another container to leave behind the sediment. The next stage is to sterilise all the equipment that you're using, including the jugs to decant and the bottles that you're going to use. We then decanted the liquid into a large container for the apple juice that was then fermented to be able to mature, and at that stage you can add the hydrometer again to check the alcohol content, or sugar content technically. If the alcohol content is 1 or below, then you're ready to start bottling up. So again, you check the sugar content. If it's above 1, you would need to leave it to do the final bit of fermentation. Once you start and you're ready to bottle up, if you want still cider, you can bottle straight away. If you'd like sparkling cider, you can add 1 teaspoon of sugar for each 1 pint. And these bottles are 1 litre, so we added 2 teaspoons of sugar. And then we decanted the cider from the larger container via a siphon. And then you seal and leave so that the secondary fermentation from the addition of the sugar at the bottling stage, and that takes about 6 weeks, might be quicker, might be slower. And then at that point your cider is ready. So it took approximately 3 to 4 months to get to this stage. but it's well worth it. And our alcohol content, which we extrapolated from our 2 hydrometer readings, was 5.7% alcohol. You take your second hydrometer reading from your first reading and divide by 7.362. You can easily get that equation online. And there is the finished product. Some sparkling cider, which was delicious.